front door. What is going on?
Oh, ring the bell.
Oh,
There it is.
Hello and welcome to the Saku Hall Arena here in Tallinn, Estonia. It is a sold-out crowd for Europe's biggest stadium BMX competition. We've got both the street and park finals coming up tonight, and to help us with all of the action as it unfolds, we have one of the most articulate and intelligent voices in BMX joining us, Mr. Sebastian Keep, aka Baz.
Thank you, Ed. Very excited to be here. We've got 23 of my favourite riders about to go and ride this amazing simple session course. It's going to be insane. It's the 20th anniversary and it's a special year, and I can't wait for the action to get started.
Okay, do you think that 20th anniversary adds an extra layer of pressure for the riders?
Yeah, of course, the riders are under a lot of pressure, but for a lot of these guys, this event is a real opportunity to make a name for themselves. And not only that, this is not a small event. This is a huge stadium, packed full to the brim of people. These riders hardly ever get to ride in arenas like this, and I think the riders absolutely love riding here on this stage at Simple Session.
Well, if history tells us anything, it's that they always rise to the occasion and put on a show. Because it's the 20th anniversary, we thought, what better time to sit down with the founder of Simple Session, Risto Kalmre, than now to look at the evolution of the event.
We were just a couple of young kids who started riding BMX, and there wasn't really anything to ride, so we built a new skate park and wanted to have an opening event there. At first it was called something else the first year, and then it went good, and next year we already named it Simple Session. It was way different in the end of 90s or beginning of 2000s. Progression has been like beyond limits, you know, it's totally crazy. Riders have thrown tricks that's never been seen before.
Perfect 1080.
Favorite moments throughout these 20 years, there's been so many. Just to pick something, Josh Harrington, Trubus Hansson has won 5 times, Simone Paracco. There's been so many big stars in BMX world that stood out there.
So you can see the riders starting to warm up on the course. The street finals are going to start very, very shortly. But how does it work, Baz? You've got one course here and 2 disciplines with street and park. How does it cater for both?
Yeah, that's right. We've got one big course. So the street riders will generally try and stick to the rails and the ledges and the flat banks to score their points. But the park riders will very much head towards the big box jumps, the bigger quarters, and be seeking out some of the bigger gaps.
Okay, we've actually got one rider who's in both categories tonight. That's why Baz said there are only 23 riders coming out tonight. Boyd Hilda has qualified for both street and park finals. And don't forget, he won park last year, but we'll talk about him later on. First, we're going to take a closer look at this course with Daniel Weddermeyer and Reed Stark, both park and street riders.
Yo, this is Reed Stark. And here's Daniel Weddermeyer. And we are doing the DGI course preview.
No doubt that once again, Nate Wessel and his crew have absolutely pulled out all the stops with this course, and as always, it's the star of the show. But qualifiers, no shortage of drama in BMX Street. Who stood out to you, Baz?
There was so much good riding, but Joe Jarvis was absolutely amazing. You know, he was definitely the underdog. He had that huge 360 right at the end of his run. He was an absolute crowd favourite. He had a little bit of everything too. Lots of variety, you know, used the ramps as well, and he was definitely one to watch yesterday.
And I heard a rumour that he quit his job to come out here.
Yeah, that's right. That's how much Simple Session means to some of these riders.
Okay, after Joe Jarvis, who would be your next pick?
Courage Adams he was so good yesterday. He did the most difficult run I've ever seen in contest history. He wobbled a little bit on his second run, that's why he didn't finish in the top spot, but he was incredible yesterday. Check it out, that nose wheelie to grind to 180 out.
On that first run, for me, that was as good as any run I've ever seen at Simple Session. I think if he can pull that out again or anything close to it, he's in the running for the win here today.
100%. And then Brock Rayford, first place qualifier. He was a powerhouse yesterday. He showed so much maturity, rocking that fresh Red Bull helmet. He's never podiumed here at Simple Session, so a win here today would mean a lot to Brock.
Yeah, he definitely stepped up his game in qualifiers yesterday. No two ways about that. This is going to be a toe-to-toe battle between 12 of the best street riders in the world. And alongside those three that Baz has just picked out, we also sat down Felix Prangenberg and Bruno Hoffmann for a bit of a chat.
I'm feeling good, glad to be back here. Last year was pretty fun, so definitely had to come back. For me, Simple Session is that everyone just comes together from all over the world and just have a good time together. Like when the arena fills up, the vibe in there is pretty crazy. Definitely gets you hyped, I think. It's crazy that the contest is still running after 20 years. I remember coming here like 6 years ago and placing somewhere in like the 40s. Then winning it at some point was crazy, and it still feels crazy. I think that was the best year I ever had on my bike last year.
It's kind of cool because it's always at the beginning of the year and you see everyone. It's like a school reunion almost. I can't even count how many times I've been here because I've been on and off. But it's definitely developed into a big contest, and yeah, the level of riding is always pretty good. It speaks for itself that people still come out here after 20 years, I would say, and in street and park, so it's kind of cool to see because you don't really get to see many park contests anymore. Looking forward to it.
Well, we're going to see Felix Prangenberg in the mix. Unfortunately, Bruno Hoffmann didn't make the cut, and that is illustrating very clearly just how high the standard is in street finals. Alongside Baz and I in the studio here, there's a third member of our team. It's Amy Fuller, and she's down course side.
First of all, Brock, congratulations, first place qualifier. What a run that was. How did you put it all together?
For me, I definitely came here with a mission. You know, first day of practice, I just started to try to lay something down and get something in my head kind of set in concrete. That way I knew a route to take. And then from there, I just tacked on my ability to ride a bike, and you know, that ended up putting me in first place for qualifying. So I'm hoping to go out there today and do something similar, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And with finals coming up, what can we expect to see from you?
You can expect from me something similar, but it's definitely going to be amped up a little bit with like little things here and there, just so you know, more so solidify a podium position if I can. And yeah, as long as I go out there and do my best for myself personally, then I'm stoked, you know. So at the end of the day, I'm just stoked to be out there with my friends riding BMX.
Nice one. Well, congratulations and good luck in the finals.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, he certainly looks relaxed, Baz. Last thing to talk about before we get into the finals is the format. How's it going to work?
So today it's 12 riders, 2 runs each, only taking the best run. So it's best run counts. Yesterday was a little bit different because they combined the 2 runs together.
Okay, so it's all on one run score. More imperative, though, that you get a solid run down first.
Oh, 100%. If you mess up the first run, the pressure on your second run is immense. So they're going to want to go out and put the first run, get it solid.
Okay, time to earn your money. You're the expert. Who's going to win?
Ed. if Courage goes out there and pulls that run he's got planned, it's so difficult. It's almost impossible, the run he has planned. There's so much balance involved. No one will beat him. Absolutely no one.
Okay, I like that. I'm going to go for a Boyd Hilda double ease in street and park, and I'd love to see him be the first man to win both. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll have Simple Session 20 BMX Street Finals. Welcome to Simple Session 20 BMX Street Finals. 12 of the world's best riders lining up toe to toe. This course is an absolute behemoth. So let's take a look at who's up and riding. We're going to kick off with Joe Jarvis. Straight after that, first Scotsman ever to win an X Games medal, Alex Donachie. Then the Russian Max Chuprina. Reed Stark, almost out with a knee injury, is back in. And then Alex Kennedy, fantastic first run for him. Squeaked in with his second run. Flatland wizard Anthony Perrin is in there. Boyd Hilda, the man who qualified for both street and park. Mark Burnett, the guy whose star has been rising consistently through every single Simple Session he's entered. Justin Spreek, Felix Brangenberg, last year's winner, and then those top two spots that we mentioned in the pre-show, Courage Adams and Brock Rayford. I think this could get down and dirty, Baz.
I mean, the level of the riding yesterday in qualifying was so high. We saw riders like Nathan Williams not making the finals, even though he did a really, really good run. So it just goes to show how good these riders are and how experienced they are riding contests.
When you look at Courage Adams, if you break down Courage Adams and Brock Rayford's runs, Courage Adams had one sort of combo trick that was linked for the first 30 seconds of his run, whereas Brock Rayford was just packing the tricks in. How did the judges split that? It's such a tough job.
Well, the only real reason that Courage didn't qualify in the first place position is because yesterday it was 2 runs and it was the combined score of both the runs. But Courage's first run was so good, it blitzed every other run in the whole contest, but he had a few wobbles in the second one. That's why he sat in second place spot.
Okay, we'll get into that conversation as this competition develops. If you want to join in the conversation, you can using the hashtag Simple Session or Simple Session 20. The man now sat out on his own in the middle of this course is Northwich's finest. Joe Jarvis now lives in Liverpool. He's working in a bar restaurant. Oh, he's got an ankle brace on there on his right foot, you can see that. Yeah, he was working in a bar restaurant, but he jacked it in to make sure he could come out to Simple Session, as Baz said. And now he's ready to throw down. He absolutely sent it. And I think one of the most important things to say, Baz, was that he was in one of the very early qualifying heats, and the judges saw 14 street qualifying heats yesterday. So it's the law of diminishing returns. They kind of forget how impressive the early runs were. So he did really well to survive the cut.
Absolutely. Check it out, starting his run with a trick that relies on a lot of balance and control. It's a huge gamble. Pulls it nice and clean.
Looks so steady.
Look at that, up round to 360 out. Nice little bar spin, turning round. And there's that whiplash.
Oh, the foot down.
Just dabbing a little foot. Check it out, switch pegs up the rail to tail whip out.
He's gone back for the whiplash, clean this time.
Stomps the whiplash.
That's tidy.
And showing a lot of experience for a guy that hardly ever rides in contests.
He's boxing clever, isn't he, all the way through it?
Massive bar spin down into the course out of the wedge.
Interesting that he didn't revisit the 360 off the top of the platform. Do you think he was looking to put down a solid run first and take the pressure off a little bit and then work that into a second run?
I actually think he wanted to finish with a 360, but he ran out of time.
He went back for the whiplash and cut that trick off the end.
Exactly. Check it out, there's that switch pegs to tail whip out, landing both feet on the pedals perfectly. There's that 360 tail whip up into the bowl section. Check it out, that huge bar spin out of the wedge, down into the bowl, into the street section, sorry. And a really good solid first run for Joe Jarvis.
Okay, look at that. He's got a smile on his face. And it's always hard. It's a cruel trick in a final. But 79.2 first run out for Joe Jarvis. That is a good score. I always think the judges are looking for a classic kind of mid-70s score. If you land your first run out, they're looking for a mid-70s score. And then they'll use that as the benchmark by which they judge all of the others. But Alex Donachie, the Glaswegian, is out. Sat on a little bit of an ankle injury, Baz.
Yeah, we saw him in practice yesterday with the ankle injury, but it didn't seem to stop him. In qualifying, he went out there and put down a really solid couple of runs, and that's why he's in the final today.
Okay, just sitting up there in the whoops, or the bird bath. Hopping in. Carrying a bit of speed. Oh!
That was a huge up rail to gap into that little downslope. There's a tooth hanger 180. When Alex is on his game, he poses a real threat.
Are you calling him one of the sleeping giants of this final then?
I mean, he's got so much ability. Check it out. Crooked grind to up rail to 360 out. There's a pedal grind, little nollie bar spin. Check it out, up rail to Smith store on the side of that wedge. 180.
This is lovely.
180, sorry, out of the Red Bull wedge.
We've already seen 4 or 5 tricks that we didn't even get a glimpse of in qualifying. If this is a sign of what's to come from all of the riders, then this is going to be a very, very fresh and very tight final.
Yeah, he is showing a lot of composure here. That was a really good stacked run. He had everything.
But you can see how hard he's heaving in the end now. That's just how hard he worked. Joe Jarvis first over to congratulate him. That was incredible.
Yeah, check it out, tooth hanger to 180. And then there's that crooked grind, the 360 out. There's that manual 180 or 270 on that Red Bull pyramid. So technical, his riding. He's got a lot of tricks that none of the other riders can do.
So Alex just waiting patiently there, see what comes in. 5.2. Alex Donachie allows himself just a right little smile there to celebrate that one. Looking very, very confident. And well, he should. That was a run well executed. Next in, Max Chuprina of Russia. Born in Krasnoyarsk. Very, very smooth. Great creative use of the course. Really well-rounded rider.
Yeah, the only Russian here today in our street final.
Yeah, we've got two repping in park, one in street, and we have one Russian in the skate finals earlier, Igor Golyev, but Max Chuprina capable of some big runs here.
Started with that 360 no-hand over the wedge and a 180 bar spin. Nice, putting the roll back with the toboggan out. A couple of big tricks already early on in his run. Saw that flare in the bowl section as he bar spins down into the street section. Takes 180 up to full cab out. Oh. Started really strong here, Max Chuprina.
Felt like he just reset for a second there, got his breath back after the intensity of the first 30. See if he can back it up on the second 30. Nice.
Feels like he's going to need a couple more tricks in the final 10 seconds. There's that feeble 180 bar spin. Nice.
Yeah, he lost a little bit of the momentum out of the first 30 seconds there, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a jam-packed first 35 seconds and it sort of slowed down a little bit. Check it out though, that 360 tuck no hand over the wedge-to-wedge gap.
And then that 180 bar spin with the rollback. That's beautiful, so steady.
Amazing that toboggan, wasn't it, on the rollback?
Just a little tap on that. So Max Chuprina just rolling up the back, getting himself a little refreshment. It's going to be eyes glued to the Jumbotron on the middle of the course, though. Waiting to see what pulls in. 75.4. This is a heavy-hitting final. 3 riders down, and Max Ciprinia goes straight into 3rd with that run. Okay, let's hear quickly from Reed Stark before he drops in.
Well, it's in winter, one thing. Other than that, just a massive arena, you know? Other than like X Games, this is probably the biggest platform to really rip and, you know, come together with the community.
The man affectionately known as the Giraffe in street BMX circles is out on safari. Let's see what he's got for us as he gallops across the course.
Yeah, Reed always manages to stand out, and I think that's what the judges are looking for. The rider can go out there and really do original lines and creative tricks that no one else is doing, put a smile on the judges' faces. That's how you usually score high.
He's super creative, isn't he, with everything he does. He's got everyone psyched up behind him.
He loves to go fast, Reed Stark.
Charging across the channel, hit the back ice cream to a Smith ride on the Hayden. Quarter pipe 360, come on, Reed. The SD Safari skate rider getting the 2-hit combo, foot jam to toothpick.
Smashing it up fast through the first 15 seconds there.
Check out that pole jam 180. Look at that huge double peg grind up into that wedge. That was a massive bunny hop to get up there.
He's got the frame for it though.
Where's he going? Check it out, double peg into that big steep wedge. He's got lots more speed, 20 seconds Reed. Look at that, 270 to Smith up on that huge sub box. Little gap to pegs. You can't believe that worked.
Yeah, don't celebrate quite yet, you got 10 seconds left, Reed.
Can he finish with one last trick? Look at that, nice tooth hanger. Wow.
Very, very solid run. Another one. The consistency we've seen so far in this street final is breathtaking. 4 riders in and 4 very, very strong runs. You can feel the judges' booth starting to overheat already, can't you?
Yeah, he started so strong up in that bowl section. Lots of speed, lots of variety. Check this out, that huge bunny hop up into the pegs, pulling over into the wedge, and then there's that switch double peg, landing into that steep, fast wedge. Check it out, big 270, landing up at the top of that sub box.
He locked that front wheel and the front peg in perfectly, didn't he?
Yeah, I've not seen anyone do that. Original, creative tricks. Reed Stark is always a contender here at Simple Session.
He's shouting to the bleachers as well. So next in, Alex Kennedy out of Great Britain. Man from Croydon. He's living a lot of yoga, a lot of meditation, and been eating. So Reed Stark 78.1. So it's a sign of just how high the standard is already. Reed Stark sits in 3rd position, just behind Joe Jarvis and Alex Donaghy. At the moment, 2 Brits at the top of the standings and another one ready to drop. Alex Kennedy. Purple is the bike colour of choice this season, isn't it?
There's a lot of colour on that bike. Alex has been one of the top street riders for a few years now. Been to Simple Session around 6 times, and he's always a finalist in our street competition. Starts out with that little half cab on the whoops. Feeble grind into that steep wedge. Look at that big gap down into the Red Bull Pyramid.
The speed that the tricks are coming now is packing it in here.
Look at that nose block, double peg to 270 out. Nice 540. Spending a good amount of time in the street part, up into the bowl section as he's now ventured back into the street arena.
Oh, going for the manual out.
Just looped out, didn't he? 180 backwards crook grind. Over pegs. 10 seconds, Alex.
Tell you what, he has covered some ground with this run. He's done, I think, almost everything on the course except for the jump box. Oh!
so unfortunate just to come off on that last trip, but I don't think the judges will penalise him too much for that. He had a little bit of everything all over the course, and I think he'll be happy with that run.
It was like a Christmas chocolate bar, wasn't it? 25% extra free. There was so much packed in. He had almost double the trick rate, it felt like, of anyone else.
Yeah, I like the way he used the bowl section. Check that 540 out on that quarter pipe and check it out. 180, backwards crooked grind, down our rail, pulling the roll back, and a very solid first run for Alex Kennedy.
Yeah, it didn't feel to me like there were any dead spots in there. It was constantly working.
It looked like a well thought out run, didn't it?
Really, like, it's an ambitious one as well, though, because if he gets the line slightly wrong out of any of those features, then it messes up the next trick.
Certainly does, but he's got so much experience. If he made a mistake at some point in his run, he's able just to move on and concentrate on the next trick.
Okay, it doesn't look like he's taking too much notice of the score up there. He's just processing what's gone down. 77.3. Fourth place for Alex Kennedy, just ahead of Max Ciprina, just behind Reed Stark in third. Next in, the French flatland wizard, Anthony Perrin. Incredible bike control, hasn't he?
Yeah, Anthony's very capable of delivering some of the best video parts BMX has ever seen. He recently won a Nora Cup for Video Part of the Year in the federal video, so it just shows how much ability the young Frenchman's got. Starts off with a truck driver into the street section as a tooth hanger down the rail. Nice tooth hanger up the rail, 3 big tricks.
Into wall ride.
Yeah.
That was unreal. Judges are going to have the microscope out on this run. There's so much deliberate detail being thrown in by Perrin.
Look at that, bar spin gap to wall ride down into the wedge. There's that tooth hanger 180 bar spin. Wow.
Super tech here with Perrin.
He makes it look so easy. I absolutely love watching Perrin ride. Check it out, he's got tail whips too.
Yeah, very casual.
Love the way he throws that bar spin so quickly on that tooth hanger 180.
Yeah, it looks like he's operating in a different space-time continuum to the rest of the riders, doesn't it? Everything's going that much slower. The bike seems to hang in the air for him a millisecond longer so he can get everything finished. So time's up for Anthony Perrin, and the judges' work now begins. They've got to try and compare this to potentially Joe Jarvis, or it actually wasn't too dissimilar to Alex Donachie's run.
Yeah, he had a lot of technical tricks, that's for sure, and I like this, look, showing that he can do the part tricks too with that tail whip air. Really good first run for Anthony Perrin. He has a cushion to lean on now in going into his second run.
It definitely, he didn't leave anything to waste there, did he? So takes a bit of a breath. So 6th rider down, 6 still to drop here at Simple Session 20. It is Street BMX Finals, and we're midway through the first runs. We've already got some cracking scores on the board. Alex Donachie is in first with 85.2. Joe Jarvis just behind him, 79.2. Reed Stark rounds out the top 3 on 78.1.
The level is so high. I mean, we've seen hardly any mistakes from these riders, and it's absolutely amazing how they can go out there and put a full run together, full 60 seconds. It's such a cardiovascular workout, and credit to the guys.
Well, the hardest thing, they actually lost, I think they lost today on full training on the course. So people are still kind of finding their lines, and I think that's what's really made the finals quite exciting, because between qualifiers and finals, people have actually started unlocking new lines, new tricks that they can throw into different areas of the course.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. You know, these guys have never ridden this part before. They've only had a few days to get used to it. But not only get used to it, get good enough on it to compete with the best riders in the world.
So 80 points for Anthony Perrin. Second place for the Frenchman. So
I wanted to ride it more, but I couldn't fit it into the runs and stuff like that. So I just thought, why not do both? It's putting a lot on my plate, but it'll be all right. We'll enjoy it.
one of BMX's true renaissance men, Boyd Hilda. The word all-terrain vehicle is thrown around a lot in action sports, but Boyd Hilda truly embodies that spirit. He can ride anything.
Yeah, I can't believe that he competed in both events. I mean, you rarely see that these days. And, you know, he went out there in qualifying yesterday and just showed that he's so capable on every part of the course. And I think that's really going to help him, not only in today's street contest, but also in the park competition later on.
Yeah, 100% Boyd Hilda can do it all. I think the biggest issue for him is not in any way skill, it's going to be stamina. Just keeping this intensity up. Lovely foot plant to start.
Yeah, he's got to do a street run and a park run. I mean, how do you differentiate, you know, make that different on this one course? Check it out though, that big gap into stick wedge, that massive back gap to peg grind. Oh, he pulled that twice in qualifying. I tell you what, if he'd have missed that, it would have been a long night for Boyd Hilda.
There is so much risk involved in that, and he made it look so casual.
Check it out, bar spin. Just going for that bar spin to roller coaster ice pick down those double coping there. So unfortunate to come off. It looked like he got stuck on the last foot or so of the coping.
Do you think it could have pinched the wheel?
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. Maybe that wedge has moved slightly. But check it out. Started with that big truck driver over the wedge to wedge. Check this out, that huge gap. Aiming for the double peg and just about getting on there.
Unreal.
Crooked grind to bar spin. Wow.
Alex Kennedy giving him the high five. So Boyd Hilda is left all the pressure for the second run. He's so relaxed though. I think he's allergic to pressure, so. Waxing up the pegs. Maybe he felt like he stuck a little bit there. 69.2, ranked 7 for Boyd Hilda with 7 riders down. So a lot of work for him. He is the defending Simple Session Park champion. No one has ever won in Park and Street. Mark Burnett feeling the groove out here. Kid from upstate New York, Slingerland, sorry. Always says that it's about as far from anyone in the States as you can get in terms of BMX. So he's slowly been coming up through the ranks. 2017 he turned up here and got 10th. 18 it was 6th. 19 it was 5th. So can he go one better, make top 4 this year? Can he go podium? Oh, and a little stumble, first out.
As he drops in, where is he going?
Look at that, wall ride to over pegs down into the street section. That feeble up to bar spin, nice tailwind into the bank. Quick bar spin air. Look at that. Love that. 180 with a tooth tap on our volcano.
There's just so much going on, isn't there, in a Burnett run?
Beautiful pedal grind down our rail.
Oh, there it is.
Using the same roller coaster that Boyd had a little tumble on.
He went double pegs though, didn't he? Just to play it a little bit safe through there.
Feeble to hard 360 up the rail.
So Burnett calls it.
Apart from the early mistake, that was a very solid run for Mark Burnett.
Yeah, so one little foot down on that second trick.
Check it out, that wall ride to peg grind down the rail. And there's that feeble up the rail to bar spin out. Nice pedal grind down the bigger Red Bull rail. Using our Red Bull Perspex quarter. Little gap into the roller coaster. Lots of variety, good use of course.
Just glancing back at the clock there and realising that he wants to let it go. So Mark Burnett looking relaxed, enjoying himself, certainly feeling the groove today in front of a sold-out crowd here at Simple Sessions. Right. Where's it going to come in? At the moment, Alex Donachie still leading 85.2. Anthony Perrin in second on 80. Joe Jarvis rounds out the top three, 79.2. So Burnett's score coming in 79.6. Good enough for third position for Mark Burnett. Let's hear from him now.
Mark, absolute corker of a first run. You must be buzzing about that.
Yeah, I mean, I practiced the beginning so many times, and then first thing I do, I messed it up, so you gotta collect yourself, get back out there. And I thought the run that I had planned was gonna be like 45 seconds, and even with the bottle, I looked up and I had 30 seconds, and I was like, oh, well, better reconfigure and go into the next run knowing what to do better. And I got to add more tricks this time.
How tough is it to put a run together on a course like this?
No, it's pretty easy because there's so many different things you can do, so many different places you can go, so many different areas you can end up in on accident. You just have to have a trick ready for everything and hope that you can put it together the way that you want to.
Awesome. Well, fingers crossed for the next run. Good luck.
Thank you.
That's really interesting to hear him talk about that actually he had way more time than he thought.
Yeah, it just shows how prepared you've got to be. You've got to be ready for any scenario when you're out there.
Okay, next in, the kid out of Murrieta, California. He looks like a park ranger. He rides like an absolute boss. Justin Spreet, arguably the best moustache in BMX. Been riding a bike since he was 4 years old. His mentor and his inspiration is his dad. Still rides with him. So let's see where he's going.
Look at that! Pedal grind up the rail to top the hand out right at the start of his run. What an entrance!
Make no mistake, Justin Spreet means business.
I love watching Justin ride. He does so many little original tricks that no one else is doing. Check it out. Switch hanger up in our bowl section.
That's the beauty of BMX Street riding on BMX Freestyle.
Look, oh, that was a switch hanger to over tooth on the other side of that bigger Red Bull rail.
It's insane just how technical these tricks are, but also how consistent the riders are on them. To be able to put that in a comp run.
Yeah, a whole 60 seconds as well. It takes so much out of these guys. You have to be so fit.
Spreet is prowling the course like an apex predator, isn't he?
Looks very comfortable, doesn't he? Check it out. Finishes with a really technical trick on our flat rail.
If anything, he looked almost defiant there. That was incredible.
Absolutely zero mistakes from Justin Spreet. He looked comfortable, he looked confident, and he had a little bit of everything out there. Check it out, that pedal going up the rail to tuck no-hander. Are you kidding me? There's that 180 crooked grind, half cab out.
And so clean. There it is. Oh, how did he line that up?
He must have prepared for this event for a long time. Check it out, that's so technical, that last trick.
But he just made it look so easy. I think I'm going to call it now, yes, the moustache.
He's not even out of breath, look at him, he's chilling.
Yeah, everyone else has been huffing and puffing at the end of their runs. Someone get these guys some paracetamol. The judges are going to have a serious headache by the end of the second run. So Spreet waiting patiently. I called him defiant earlier. That is definitely his pose, isn't it?
I just can't believe how relaxed he looks after that, you know? He's not out of breath, he just went out there and it's business as usual.
Well, he's saying, I dare you. I dare you not to put me in first place. Oh, he's eyeballing someone. Who have we got in the judges' booth? I know that Hank's over there, isn't he? I think Akim Kudzielski is, yeah, there he is in the red beanie.
And Marcus Wilke, he once finished second in the X Games, the German rider.
Okay, 78.6. Interesting. So fifth place, just behind Joe Jarvis, just ahead of Reed Stark. Now we go back down to the bottom. It is last year's winner, man, who is so technical but so fluid on this course. Felix Prangenberg of Germany. What are you expecting to see here, Baz?
He's always starts strong, Felix. You know, he's definitely got all of the tricks that it would take to finish in the top three. Just whether he can handle the whole pressure of being last year's winner.
Yeah, there's a big target on your back, isn't there?
Look at him charge across backwards.
Wow, what a start though.
We know that Felix Brandenburg's got a lot of fans in
So he's given the bowl a bit of love there. Coming into the street section now, and he's going to get to work. Oh, are you kidding me? That was ridiculous. Where did that come from?
Felix is on fire right now. Last minute disaster, 180 out.
Love that.
Wow, the hardway 360 over that wedge landing fakie, and all is going to plan for Felix Prangenberg right now.
Well, I think that target on his back just got a whole lot bigger. Felix Prangenberg absolutely tearing this course to pieces with his first run. Last year's winner, setting the bar very, very high. The judges are going to be thinking about this score for a while, no doubt, but I think it's safe to say that is going to put him in the top 3 places.
He did not make a single mistake out there, did he, Ed?
That is wild. Absolutely wild.
Check it out, that truck driver to start. Look at this. Big tuck no-handed air on our wedge, up in the bowl section. Fast plant over the Red Bull Pyramid. Check how fast he spins on that.
That's a cab 7.
Pulling the roll back, he'd be so elated at that moment.
I didn't want to call it at the time, it's a cab 7.
Unbelievable.
180 to, oh my goodness.
There's that over pegs. Little easy way 180 out, right at the end of his run.
Felix Prangenberg has taken a flamethrower to the street finals here at Simple Session 20 and lit this arena up. Now everyone knows what they've got to do. We're expecting a big one here. Felix Prangenberg watching the score, 88.6 for the man from Cologne. So let's hear from Felix Prangenberg now. Amy Fuller's with him.
Felix, fantastic first run coming into this as reigning champion. Is there added pressure to perform?
Thank you so much. I mean, you put yourself under pressure, kind of. I'm just trying to take it easy and don't even think about it. Just have fun and try my best. Yeah.
Mega. Well, fingers crossed you stay at the top. Good luck for the next run.
Okay, so Prangenberg leads, but there's 2 of the best street riders in the world still to drop. The first of which is Courage Adams.
Like something part of already my life, I think. It's already my 6th time here in Tallinn. For me, something that, I don't know, is a lot of fun.
Man from Nigeria who lives in Pamplona. Courage Adams arguably banking one of the best street runs Tallinn has ever seen in qualifiers. Can he replicate that? Can he better it here in the finals? Things are starting to heat up very, very quickly, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, that run he put down yesterday was so difficult. It was almost impossible, you know. Imagine having to do that first go right now. You know, Courage is absolutely shocking the BMX world. Not many BMXers are capable of shocking everyone. Some of the only riders in history that have done that, Van Homan, Garrett Reynolds, and Courage is definitely on that list. Check it out, that bar spin to manual. Over the whoops. See, just drop that manual there. It's so difficult when you go into balance tricks to start the run, but you're going to look for the 360 out. Gets it. There's the bar spin manual, bar spin ice. Here we go, Courage. There's that nose manual. It's a double peg to 360 out. It's looking solid. It's looking very solid, other than that tiny wobble at the beginning of his run. Truck to fakie up in the bowl section. There's that half cab over the little spine. Check it out on the box jump.
I love that. That is so special.
Oh, Courage just going down on that switch tail whip out of the up rail. So unlucky.
So, not quite able to replicate yesterday's form. Really difficult, Baz, because right now the judges, you want to see the judges marking him against everyone else in this final. You don't want to see the judges mark him against his run yesterday in qualifiers. But the temptation is to do that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, but he did have a couple of, well, he had the wobble at the beginning and he had that big crash at the end, so we saw that the judges awarding riders for consistency. We saw Felix Prangenberg didn't make a single mistake and he's sitting in the top spot, so he's going to have to come out in his second run, Courage, and see if he can put that run together.
That's pretty interesting. Our winner from skate finals earlier on, Danny Leon, is actually out, and it looks like he's working Courage Adams' corner there. He's got the towel, he's got the water, he's making sure he's ready for the next round. So Courage Adams will wait for his score, but and he's working his knee there. Hopefully that's nothing serious.
Yeah, I don't think the score's going to be, I think he'll probably not get the best score, to be honest with you, but
it can't be, considering the standard of riding that we've seen in the last 10 runs before him. It can't be a big score. There are some insane tricks in there, but they're going to have to pare it back. By how much is the question.
Yeah, he's going to have so much pressure on himself for the second run now.
So at the moment, we've got Felix Prangenberg on an 88.6, 82.34 for Courage Adams, just behind Alex Donaghy in second and Felix Prangenberg in first, which means that with a relatively average run by Courage's standards, he's still on the podium. One man left to drop. First runs of Simple Session 20 Street BMX Finals. It's Brock Rayford, first place qualifier. Can he put as much bounce to the ounce in his finals run as he did into his qualies runs? He was super consistent, Baz.
Yeah, he had tricks all over the course, and he sort of, I think he beat Courage with the amount of tricks he did rather than the quality of his tricks. But check it out, that big tail whip down to the steep wedge, bar spin to ice down the Red Bull rail, little bar spin disaster. There's that pegs up to over 360. Hacking so many tricks into his run. Little tail whip over the Red Bull pyramid.
So very strong run so far from Brock Rayford. Slowing it right down now as he takes to the rails. Not rushing this last 20 seconds.
Big tail whip over the channel on a wedge to wedge.
Got 5 seconds left. He's got time for one more on the rail here. Nah. So he ran the clock down there. I think like Mark Burnett earlier on, he actually ran out of steam. He ran out of tricks. He couldn't believe that he'd still got time left at the end there.
Yeah, he looks a little bit lost at the end of his run. He could have done with finishing with a stronger trick maybe, but he's got another run.
Makes his way up onto the deck with Spreet and Burnett. It's a lovely whip down into that bank.
Look at that peg grind up and over the 360, little bar spin into the bank. Check this out, tooth hanger, over pegs, hard way 180 out, getting the roll back as well.
How do you see this run? I mean, are we talking quality versus quantity? Or do you think he's up there with both?
Well, he didn't really have any real mistakes, did he? We saw the flare at the end of his run there, but he didn't finish with sort of the strength he had in the early part of his run.
You kind of want to leave the judges with that exclamation mark on the end of your run, don't you? So Brock looking pretty amped though at the moment. He's got one very strong run under his belt. No matter what happens, it means he's got the luxury of really sending it second run now. He's got maybe his 90-95% run in the bag. He can really step that up for second run.
Yeah, it's always good to go out there and get the first run out of the way. Brush aside the nerves and get a solid run in, and then you can go out in your second run and have a little bit more fun with it.
So the human supercomputers that we call judges are up there processing everything they've seen and turning it into a number. At the moment, we've got Felix Prangenberg 88.6, but Brock Rayford comes in at 83.52. It's good enough for third place as it stands at the moment. Brilliantly, Alex Donachie, who dropped in second, qualified in 11th place, has held on to second place with that 85.2. Felix Prangenberg in first with 88.6. Brock Rayford in third on 83.52, but very, very tight all the way down to 8th position there between Courage Adams and Justin Spreet. Look at the back end, Reed Stark all the way down to Boyd Hilda. This is going to be a very, very tight final. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with second runs very shortly. Welcome back at Simple Session 20. It is Street Finals, first run down, second run about to get started, and we have had some serious heat build up already in the first runs. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
Yeah, Joe Jarvis with that massive bar spin out of the course.
Alex Donahue with that up rail to massive gap across the big flat section at the top.
Check that 180 bar spin over the channel gap. And Max Shuprina. Reed Stark with the pole jam 180.
And Alex Kennedy, man, always so nimble on his bike.
Beautiful little tabletop.
Anthony Perrin.
I love that tooth-hanger up the rail to wall ride by Anthony Perrin. And then as Boyd Hilda with the truck driver to start. There's that roller coaster from Mark Burnett, and check it out, that pedal grind up. The tuck-no-hander out from Justin Spreet. Such a good run from Justin. Nice little look back on the wedge to wedge. There's that hanger 180 with the pedal grind as well.
It looks so casual, but this is the man who's leading after run one, Felix Prangenberg, last year's champion. And he smashed everything, didn't he? He made it his business to get onto everything out there.
Yeah, not a single mistake from Felix Prangenberg.
Okay, we can go down course side now with our reporter, Amy Fuller.
Courage, you've been tipped as the man to beat. It was almost flawless. What went wrong out there?
I was a bit cold. For me, it's like super hard to start doing my stuff when I'm cold. But I don't know, hopefully the second round is gonna be better.
With regards to the second run, what do you think it's gonna take to get on the podium?
I would try to don't fall, for course, and also to try to push a bit more some tricks so that they can add like more points and try to get in the top again.
Wicked. Well, thank you very much for your time and good luck in run number 2.
Thank you.
Okay, so Courage Adams, we've said it before, Baz, he seems to struggle in competition.
Yeah, he's never really had his moment here at Simple Session, and I thought it was going to happen for him after qualifying, but the tricks that he tries in his run rely on so much balance. He uses the whole course. You see him manual around the whole bowl. If you drop the front wheel just slightly on that, it kind of throws you out of sync for the rest of your run. And the payoff is if he does pull that incredible run that he's got planned, I really don't think anyone will beat him.
Yeah, 30 seconds on one trick. So here's the start list: 3 Brits, a Russian, 2 Americans, a Frenchman, and an Australian. brilliant in those first 8. Keep an eye out for Boyd Hilda for sure. He's in Park Ann Street and could really step up the rankings, I think. But then you've got Felix Prangenberg, Courage Adams and Brock Rayford battling it out at the top at the moment. Courage Adams in 4th, Brock Rayford in 3rd, Felix Prangenberg in 1st. Alex Donaghy, the man who qualified in 11th place, is the outlier at the moment, sat in 2nd.
Yeah, he had a great run too, just looked so calm and collected out there. Lots of tricks that were so technical that the judges have to score highly.
So a completely sold out arena here in the Sakusur Hall in Tallinn, Estonia tonight. The floor's full, the bleachers are full, and the atmosphere is building. Don't forget, we're in street now. We've also got park finals to follow, but second run of street is kicking off with this man, Joe Jarvis, out of Liverpool in the United Kingdom.
Check it out, starting with a really difficult trick with the hang 5. Beautiful, dropping into the bowl.
Made it look so easy. If anything, he looks more relaxed.
That was a huge 360 out of that double peg grind. Check it out, the whiplash.
Yes! That was the trick he dropped on the first run. Now he's got that in the bag. We could see that big finish, the 360 off that top platform.
Look at that, the tail whip out of the double peg up the rail.
Using his beanie as target practice there.
There's that peg to opposite hardway 180 out. So many big tricks here.
Locked into this. Is he going to go up top now? He's got 7 seconds left.
Come on, Joe.
Okay.
There's that huge bar spin out of the bowl section, down into the street section. Landing super hard. He's having so much fun out there, isn't he?
I tell you what, that's, as a rider, that's all you can ask for. That was obviously the run he wanted, and he's come out here and he has absolutely nailed it. That was an inch-perfect start to finish.
It was.
Check out, proud of it.
Check out this whiplash. The way he catches the pedals so perfectly.
Oh!
There's that switch pegs up the rail, tail whip out, catches the pedals again perfectly.
He's got magnets in his shoes, I reckon.
Big bar spin.
And he gets the back wheel down beautifully there, manages to kill that impact a little bit. So Joe Jarvis looking expectantly up to the Jumbotron for his score. He's puffing and blowing. The only man we saw who wasn't was Justin Spree. 81.12. So it's good enough for 5th. He moves up 2 spots. Joe Jarvis, very, very pleased with that.
Yeah, he opted out of that big 360 we saw him do yesterday in qualifying. He opted to stick to the safer, more consistent run, and it paid off for him.
Well, to move from 12th to 5th, still a lot of big riders to go, but he's given it his absolute best there. So next in, Alex Donaghy out of Scotland, currently in 2nd place. The big question for him is, where can he improve that first run?
Check it out, that big rail to gap.
That gap is so long.
Manual to hang at 180. So much bike control, the young Scotsman. Quicker grind up the rail, so 180 backwards manual. Just getting so unfortunate to step off there.
I tell you what, the way he skipped off the bike then, you could see that ankle that is injured there. He can't actually put that much pressure on it. That is insane to think of that first run that he did. To think that he's nursing an injured ankle.
God, he makes it look so easy, doesn't he?
Unreal.
Lovely little Smith grind to 180 out.
So Alex Donaghy lets this second run go. Gives the crowd a wave and knows that it will be a long and nervous wait now. 10 riders left to drop to see if he can hold on to that 2nd position.
He got so steep on that hanger there.
It's beautiful, wasn't it?
Up rail to little Smith stall on the side of that wedge. definitely be happy with his first run.
Taking his props from the crowd. And he'll have to wait and see if that 85.2 is enough to keep him on the podium. Certainly, I think he'll be pleased. That first run was so strong. Gave a fantastic account of himself there.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to improve on that run. It was so good, wasn't it?
100%. Next in, Max Chaprina of Russia, originally from Krasnoyarsk, now lives in Moscow. He's one of the cornerstones of the Russian BMX scene. He developed his riding in some of Russia's most far-flung cities. He plies his trade internationally now. Lovely.
Getting that 180 bar toboggan twice now. First and second one. Check it out. Gap into the wall on the way out of the bowl section, down into the street section. 180 bar spin up the rail. Nice little half cab into the bank. Little opposite hanger on the flat rail.
Tell you what, just glancing at Max's scores, he's on a 75.4 from the first run, and he's in 11th place. That's how high the standard is.
Absolutely, we've seen hardly any mistakes from riders like Alex Donachie and Felix Brangenberg. It's going to be tough to beat those guys.
Oh, just skipping off in the last 5 seconds of that run. He'll be so disappointed with that. If he could have shown that run a clean set of heels, it could have been worth a decent rise in his points. Not as clean on the top 3 either, was he?
No, not as good as the first. The one he did in his first run. But this was beautiful. That up rail to 180 bar spin, rolling back, half cabin into the little bank.
So wait for the scores on Max Chaprina. 75.4 from his first run will be the score he takes. 71 for that second run score. So, fortunately, Max Chaprina sat in 11th and he's still got Boyd Hilda behind him. So, wouldn't bet on him not taking the wooden spoon here, unfortunately. Boyd Hilda looked very strong in qualification in the street. So next in, Reed Stark. Talked about him so much, Baz. So creative. He's got those really unique lines that set him apart for the judges, really make them sit up and take notice.
Yeah, and he's such a positive guy. So easy to talk to, and he's always got a smile on his face. Check it out, that gap to Smith on the wedge. Starting fast and strong up in the bowl section. Gapping down into the street section. Look at that, pole jam 180.
Just installed the bike there, didn't he, for a second? Pulled it round really late. Beautiful style.
So much style. There's that big gap, double peg, up into the bowl section, hopping over into the wedge. Where's he going? There's that switch pegs, down into the steep wedge. Big 270 to Smith. Up on top of that mini quarter. Look at that, big gap to peg ride.
Reed Stark is in the zone, he's got 10 seconds.
Oh! The 180 to backwards ice right at the end of his run.
Look at that, straight over to the riders area. Everyone losing it at him. He's so pumped on that run. The intensity of it.
Yeah, it was a brilliant run. The fact that he had the patience in the middle of his run to wait right to the end to produce that really technical trick. Unbelievable run from Reed Stark. Look, I like the way he started up here in the bowl section with lots of speed. That 360 over the wedge. There's that super stylish pole jam 180.
Love that one.
That big original 270 to Smith.
He's got that on lock, hasn't he? He literally was on rails with it first and second run.
Oh. And here it is, that 180 to backwards ice grind down the rail, pulling the roll back. right in the dying seconds of his run. Check it out.
Oh, with these tricks, you're spoiling us, Mr. Stark.
You can see how much it means to him.
82.88, fourth place for Reed Stark. He's pushed Courage Adams and Joe Jarvis down into 5th and 6th, respectively. So Reed Stark currently in the top 5 with his second run. Still got 7 riders left to drop though, and it could all change. Alex Kennedy currently in 10th place. One of London's finest, if you call Croydon London.
Starts with that 180 within the whoops, up in the bowl section. Feeble on the subbox to X up out, down to the flat bank. Straight into that big gap. Nollie to tooth hanger. He started with a lot of tricks in a small amount of time. Check it out, nose bump to double peg, 270 out. Stabbing a foot, 540 out. Getting the 540. Yeah, it's nice 360X. Over that little spine, made for can-can on the Red Bull Pyramid, tooth hanger to over. 180 double pegs down the rail.
So many tricks in this run. Oh, and he's dropped it.
Just going for that 180 bar spin to backwards crooked grind down the rail and just getting so unfortunate to step off the bike there.
So Alex Kennedy, disappointment for him. He's going to have to put this one down to experience. So Alex Kennedy making his way back up to the top there. Interesting to see 77.3 his current score. Top 5 is going to take an 81 and change if he wants to beat Courage Adams into those spots. I don't think we're going to see that though. So just taking a breather there. Puts in perspective just how composed Justin Spreet was on his run. Next in though, we've got Anthony Perrin of France, one of the most technical riders out there. So second run score 77.2, so he's 0.1 behind his first run score, so Alex Kennedy will not move up. It's at best 10th place for the man from Croydon. Now, 80 points is good enough for 7, such is the consistency of the riding in the Simple Session Street Final here. We're into the business end of the second runs now. Last 6 riders dropping. And this is Anthony Perrin. What are you expecting, Baz?
He looks like he's asking some people to move out of the way. So it could be something big. Check it out. Starts with the truck driver into the course. There's that tooth hanger up to wall ride, just having to step off slightly.
Just let that go a little bit, and it looks like he's backed off.
Beautiful looking truck driver over wedge to wedge. Yes, that's that nice bar spin, gapped wall ride. Check it out, tooth hanger. He wanted the 180 bar spin out of that tooth hanger.
Doesn't look anywhere near as fluid on this second run. Just had a couple of little snags, hasn't he?
Yeah, couple of little wobbles, and he's found it hard to recover.
It's such a big course, and it's so demanding. If you lose your mojo in here, not easy. Oh! What was he going for there?
Massive 180 bar spin attempt on that same gap we saw Joe Jarvis jump earlier on. That was huge. Wow. That was for the crowd and for the BMX fans, because I think he knew that run was not as good as his first run.
Yeah, he let that one go. So unfortunate, started really strongly again.
There's that truck driver. Check it out. Bar spin gap to wall ride. Straight into the tooth hanger. Nice little stylish tail whip over that Red Bull wedge.
So Felix Prangenberg over with him. 73 for his second run, 80 points from his first run will stand. And at the moment, that is only good enough for 7th. So now we turn to Boyd Hilda. Made a small mistake in his first run. He's currently sat in 12th position. But let's not forget, he's the only man riding street and park finals. He is so talented at both. He's made sure that his talent translates. And he's got some of the most radical lines in the street final if he can pull them off. All the pressure is on the Australian Boyd Hilda now to see if he can deliver. If he can't, though, it's not the end of the world. He's still got park to go.
Yeah, and you know what? It really wasn't even his fault, that mistake. He just got stuck on that pegs, didn't he, on that roller coaster ice pick. And I think we're going to see him come out in his second run and pull that and deliver a full 60-second run.
Yeah, he's just got the small matter of that enormous gap to the rail.
That thing is huge, Ed.
That is monstrous, but gnarliest thing we've seen so far in the street final.
So gnarly, you do not want to miss that, that's for sure. And just, you know, you have to aim and direct your pegs onto that, and it's about a 25-foot gap.
Okay, he's in. He's got that foot plant into the 3.
Check it out, that lovely Canadian on the wedge.
Come on, Hilder, as he goes. Off the sweet Skandala gap. Let's see it. Come on, Estonia.
Here we go. There's that big gap. Oh!
Every single time.
That huge gap to double peg. I don't know how he gets the aim bang on every time, but he certainly, you know, he just doesn't want to miss, does he?
I think he's got a tractor beam on his bike that just sucks the rails in.
Right, as he heads towards that roller coaster grind that took him out in the first run, opted for the double peg this time, played it a little bit safer.
Going the same route as Mark Burnett there. But he's got that insanely gnarly transfer. Now he's got... Oh!
Just crashing on that up rail to switch tail whip. He knows that's costly.
Oh, and I thought he'd caught his shin on the pedals.
That would have been the icing on the cake. Check
Look
it
at
out.
that, the style that he's just laying it on thick from the very beginning, isn't he? Look at this.
He's just looking for the pegs and finds them. So much time to think about it and just pulls it perfectly.
Imagine how much time he's got to think about it if he's not lined up.
And then here's that gap to roller coaster grind that we saw him pull in his second run. He just got so unfortunate to crash that up rail to opposite tail whip.
So Boyd Hilda wheeling his bike behind that big Red Bull Perspex wall. He's got a bit of time to take a breath before park finals set up. Gotta say, I'm kind of glad he's not on the podium because it would have been a bit of a rush getting him up with us in the studio for his winner's interview for street and then back down again for park warm-up.
It just shows how ambitious he is to compete in both events. You know?
Courage Adams just nose manualing around the back there as a warm-up.
Yeah, you know, he said earlier, didn't he? He doesn't like riding when he's cold, and he was straight into it. The first run's really difficult because you know your body's cold and you've not got any momentum.
So Boyd Hilda, 69.2 at the moment. Top spots, Felix Prangenberg on an 88.6, Alex Donachie on an 85.2, Brock Rayford on 83.52 are the top spots. Don't think, well, Boyd Hilda's last run was, there was the fall at the end there. The judges just aren't going to give it to him. We've seen too much consistency in this final so far.
Yeah, and you know, he could have opted for a bar spin out of that up rail, and he probably would have been sitting in the top spot. The fact that he opted for the switch whip, which is really inconsistent.
8-point climb, 77.5. It'll put Boyd Hilda in 10th, Alex Kennedy in 11th, Max Ciprina in 12th. Now it's the turn of Mark Burnett at Slingerlands in upstate New York. One of that vanguard of super tech street riders. Lovely bike control, really flows.
I love that wall ride to pegs on the rail. Feeble up the rail to 180 out, tail into the little bank.
Guiding the bike ramp beautifully through here, making it look so smooth and linking everything together with real speed. Oh, just skipped off.
Those pedal grinds are so hard to be consistent with. You're seeing he's having to take his foot off.
25 seconds on the clock, Daryl. Mark Burnett is on a mission right now to up his score right now.
Look at that tire ride up the rail. It's so difficult to ride up a round rail. The fact that he 360'd out of that was so crazy. Look at that.
Oh! What's he going for there?
Whatever that was.
Disaster?
It looked really difficult, didn't it? And just waving off the crowd. Mark Burnett's second run.
It's a beautiful top section. Love that. So much bike control.
Look at that, rides up the round rail. 360 and out of that. It's so difficult to...
You're talking millimeters there, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's so difficult to 360 out of a round rail because you can't turn your front rail. You really have to just hop it all the way around using all of your body strength.
Okay. Mark Burnett.
Shout out to Swampfest. Mark Burnett conquering the big rail over that huge swamp a couple of years ago. I was so impressed with that.
Yeah, if you've never seen it before, well worth checking out. Doing an enormous rail in his boxer shorts over a swamp. Definitely the definition of entertainment. So Burnett's going to ride on his first run score of 79.6, good enough for 8th place. Now, Justin Spreet, clean set of heels in his first run. Best moustache in BMX is about to take to this course. Where do you think he can step it up, Baz?
I mean, he didn't have a single mistake in his first run. I mean, it'd be so hard to improve, surely. Look at that. That starts again with that up rail pedal grind to tuck no hander out. Straight into the bangers from Justin Spreet. Little suicide no hander up into the bowl section.
Yeah. I reckon he could look at sponsorship from Silicon Valley, that tech.
Oh! So difficult, that trick, going tooth hanger to over tooth on that bigger Red Bull rail. Yeah, so much core strength involved in that trick. There's an over Smith up the rail.
Oh, tire ride to can.
Yes, beautiful trick that, so original. Final 10 seconds for Justin Spreet. Can he finish with another big trick?
Oh! Going for ride up. No! To have dropped it there. It's on a 78.6. I'll tell you what, the pressure of the first runs, I think, has taken its toll. A lot of people unable to back up those insanely consistent first runs that we saw. This final is still wide open. 3 people left to drop. Felix Prangenberg, Courage Adams and Brock Rayford. At the moment, Courage Adams in 5th, Brock Rayford in 3rd, Felix Prangenberg in 1st. Alex Donaghy still sat in 2nd place after his first run score of 85.2. The man who dropped 2nd probably can't believe that he's still sat up there so high, especially with the intensity of the first runs here at Simple Session 20 BMX Street Finals. Brock Rayford, first place qualifier, currently sat in the shade of last year's winner Felix Prangenberg. Justin Spreet cannot match his first run score, it's a 75.6, so he will stay in 9th position. Now, current leader Felix Prangenberg, can he really stamp his mark on this final and push his score further out of reach of Courage Adams and Brock Rayford? I think he can.
Must be a good situation to be in for Felix Prangenberg. You know, he's going to go out and do a little bit of a try and improve slightly if he can, but his first run was so dialed.
He's attacking this course, taking no prisoners whatsoever.
Can he add a little bit of spice to mix it up a bit?
It's just ridiculous.
I can't believe how consistent he is with that trick. Look at that bar spin 540.
Oh, and he's dropped it on the 3.
Oh, we're seeing a few riders now crash in the final parts of their run.
I think, I'll say it again, I think the weight of these first run scores is sitting heavily on a lot of these riders. The consistency that they found in that moment, driven on by each other, it's harder and harder to replicate. I mean, you were marveling at it, Baz, just to be able to do levels of this, tricks of this technicality, this consistently is utterly ridiculous. The one man who hasn't done it yet, and hopefully can find it, is Courage Adams.
Yeah, the tricks he's trying are so difficult. It's almost impossible to get first go, you know, when your name's called.
Well, certainly he knows there's an opportunity there now. The door is, with every second run that gets dropped by these guys, the door is opening a little bit further. Qualified in second place, Courage Adams is going to drop next, and he has an opportunity to catch Felix Prangenberg right now. If he can land the run we know he's capable of. So Prangenberg climbing the fences into the riders area. Reed Stark, Justin Spree, all congratulating him. So Prangenberg is going to sit and wait out. Two riders, Courage Adams and Brock Rayford, to wait and see if he can hold on to the top spot. Start matching Garrett Reynolds' record here at Simple Session for complete and utter dominance. Prangenberg won last year. If he can make it 2 in a row, then he'll be halfway there, I think. Is it 4 or 5 that Garrett Reynolds won on the trot?
You know what, Garrett's won so many events, I lose track of them.
I've got it written down here somewhere, I'm sure I can find it.
But yeah, as I was saying earlier, Courage Adams has absolutely shocked the BMX community. The clips that he puts out regularly on Instagram are so incredibly difficult, and the fact that he is trying to apply some of those tricks here today on this, you know, in his street run is insane. But yeah, if he gets one of these runs that he's trying, I have no doubt in my mind he will take first place position.
Okay, 82.34 with a couple of mistakes and a fall. Danny Leon just behind him, giving him the tips there. Danny Leon's 1-1 today. Can he pass a bit of that magic onto his friend and fellow countryman Courage Adams?
This really is it though, Ed. This is his time to shine. He's never really had his moment at Simple Session or, in fact, any other big contests. We saw him at a smaller contest early on in the year, the Backyard Jam, looking really composed, learning how to deal with putting a run together. And yeah, like I said, the tricks he wants to try in this run are so hard to get first go.
Okay, score to beat as he sets off. Felix Prangenberg on an 88.6.
Oh my goodness. He's got the bar spin to manual to bar spin. Check it out, Ed. There's the 360. Wow! The bar spin to manual. Bar spin to ice. Are you kidding me? The dream start from Courage Adams. There's that nose wheelie. Oh, keep going, Courage. That wasn't too bad of a fall.
He's already locked in some of the hardest tricks anyone has ever seen in a street final.
Check it out.
Where did that one come from? That's a little addition.
He's picked himself back up, Ed.
He has. The intensity's stepped back up. Can he make amends with the tricks that he's pulling? The judges are going to be watching this.
Just having a foot on that nose wheelie 360. Come on, Courage, let's finish with a
victory. This is a roller coaster. We're going up and down and up and down with Courage Adams.
There's that switch whip out of the up rail to finish. Oh my God! Ed, that was insane.
Oh, Courage.
I'm on the edge of my seat here.
It's the consistency of a finals run that keeps eluding him. But like you said, the technicality, look at this. I mean, he's almost 60 meters in a manual and he's bar spun one way through it.
Straight into that bar spin to manual to bar spin to ice. There's that truck to fakie.
Just insane.
And there's that up rail to switch tail whip. He needed that trick. He landed that trick. And I'm going to be, oh my God, that was insane.
from the layman's perspective, for me, I think he's pushing up the 82.34. Big question is how far. He's currently sat in 5th. Brock Rayford's in 3rd on an 83.52. Donachie on 85.2. Felix Prangenberg on 88.6.
This is where it's going to be controversial. He had a crash in his run.
78.42. The judges can't give it to him. Too many mistakes for Courage Adams. So disappointing. I don't think there was a person in this arena that didn't want to see him land that run and take the top spot. He's worked so hard for it. So Courage Adams stays in 5th. Brock Rayford, the last man who can take that top spot off Felix Prangenberg. The American drops in.
He's got a lot of work to do, Brock Rayford. Dropping into the bowl section. Big bar spin up into the wedge. Truck driver into the big wedge. Bar spin to ice down that Red Bull rail. 180 bar spin to bar spin out. Pegs up and over 360 out. He started very strong. Nice little flare on the quarter pipe.
He's swinging for the fences with this one, isn't he? So many tricks in that first 25 seconds. Still got another 35 to go. We saw him run out on his first run. He's got to have a plan for the end of this run.
Only just got that tooth to over 2 from the rail.
Look at him, he's actually glancing around. He's like, where am I going? What have I got?
This is so important, this last 20 seconds. Oh, big 360 out of the bowl section down into the street section.
Come on, use this last 10 seconds, Brock.
Still got 10 seconds. That bar spin to pegs to 180 out. Stomped right in the last seconds of his run. It felt like his run was a minute longer than the other runs, didn't it? Because of how many tricks he did.
Well, it was you can see him glancing up at the clock like he was willing it to wind down. Like watching a heavyweight boxer desperately trying to make it through the last round.
Check it out.
Managed to get a couple of swings out though. That first 25 seconds was insane though, the amount of tricks he managed to pack in. Wow, what a street finals here at Simple Session 20.
He looked like he improvised, didn't he, with that huge 360 over that double rail.
We talked about these finals living up to the billing of a 20th anniversary, and it has done exactly that. Undoubtedly, tinged with sadness that Courage Adams couldn't lay down that run that we saw in qualifying, that breathtaking run that we know he was capable of, and I think undoubtedly would have given him the top spot. But you can see Courage there and Brock Rayford, both of them on the floor. They have left everything out there on their bikes tonight.
Yeah, Courage's first trick, 2 tricks were absolutely unbelievable. The fact that he pulled those first go, you know, when they called his name is just a testament to how good he is.
To add that bar spin in as he came through the whoops and to hold on to it, to make it look as easy and composed as he did.
It's so nerve-wracking, isn't it? All you've got to do is drop your front wheel slightly and it's all over.
So we'll wait for that score to come in for Brock Rayford as the park riders start taking to the course. Gut feeling, Baz? Has Felix Prangenberg made it 2 in a row, or has Brock Rayford done enough?
You know what? I think Felix could take it. I really enjoyed Brock's run, but the fact that he looked like he improvised in the last sort of 10 seconds, I think the judges might penalise him for that. Just ever so slightly, you know. I think he'll still get second, but Felix's run was just perfect, wasn't it?
I love the detail, Baz. You've called it exactly there. We'll wait and see where he comes in. At the moment, we've got Prangenberg in first on 88.60. We've got Alex Donachie in second on 85.2. And we've got Brock Rayford in third on 83.52.
You can feel the tension though, can't you, Ed, as we await the scores.
See if they bring this one in.
Is it going to be Brock Rayford or Felix Prangenberg?
86.9, it is good enough for second. Bazkeep calls it perfectly. Felix Prangenberg will make it 2 in a row. A fantastic Simple Session Street BMX final for the man from Rolfbach, just outside Cologne. He worked so hard, he played it so humble, The pressure deflected by Brock Rayford's qualifying runs and Courage Adams' incredible qualifying run. And as a result, Felix Prangenberg was able to fly under the radar into the finals and then jump up just when it counted with an absolutely breathtaking run. Nothing less than he deserved, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, he was so good tonight, wasn't he? No mistakes at all in his first run, and it was just flawless.
So the man who was taken out of simple session 18 with a knee injury has come back and made it 2 in a row. Gotta say, Garrett Reynolds might be looking over his shoulder and thinking, I might need to come back and stamp my authority on this comp. Let's take a look back then. Joe Jarvis, Alex Donachie, 2 brilliant Brits in there. Max Shaprina of Russia made his presence felt. Restart the Giraffe. Alex Kennedy, usually so nimble on his bike, didn't have the best of nights for him.
Yeah, we saw so much good riding in that street final. Look at that massive gap to double peg from Boyd Hilda.
Are we going to see that again in park finals?
I think we will. Check it out.
Then Mark Burnett, love that tyre slide. Beautiful work from the man from New York State.
That double tyre ride up the rail from Mark Burnett.
Justin Spreet getting super tech. Then Felix Prangenberg. What a treat that was. Courage Adams, even though he didn't manage to make it into the top spot, we still saw some truly breathtaking riding from the Spaniard. Brock Rayford did everything he could, but he couldn't catch Prangenberg. A fantastic street BMX finals here in Tallinn. Prangenberg in the top spot, followed by Rayford and Donachie. Courage Adams not able to make it count in the finals. He'll have to settle for 5th. But calibre of riding we've just seen is shown by the names we see in the bottom half of the draw there. Boyd Hilda, Alex Kennedy and Justin Spreet. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back with the winner and some analysis. So street finals have wrapped here at Simple Session 20, and you can see the park riders starting to get their teeth into the course. We're going to be getting that underway very shortly. But first, Baz, we've got to talk about those street finals. The level was off the chart.
I can't believe what I've just witnessed, Ed. So much good riding, but it was the consistency tonight that I was most shocked by. The fact that in the first runs, Donachie, Rayford and Prangenberg barely made a single mistake. It was incredible to watch.
But that was through the whole field. There were very few mistakes in the first run altogether.
It was incredible. I mean, the tricks these guys are doing are so difficult, and to make hardly any mistakes, it's just, the level's so high these days.
Okay, let's take a look back through some of the runs now. We can go through the top 3 and pull apart exactly what went right for these guys. We're going to kick off with Alex Donachie, the Scot in 3rd place. He dropped 2nd in the whole comp.
Yeah, we saw him start with that huge gap from the peg grind, and he just showed so much maturity with his riding. It looked like he'd done these tricks in his sleep.
Well, considering how he'd looked quite pedestrian in qualifiers, we knew he was carrying an ankle injury, but he came out guns blazing on this first run.
He really did, and he didn't seem like he was up for it yesterday in qualifying. Today he was just so consistent. Check it out, that nollie bar spin. So many hard tricks done so easily. That's what's so unique about Alex's riding.
Yeah. Highest level of technicality, but so smooth and casual with it.
He makes it look so easy, not dabbing a single foot throughout his whole run. Check this out. Tooth hanger up to pedal grind to 360 out. That trick is so difficult, and to hold that back and do it in the last couple of seconds of your run is incredible.
Okay, so that was Alex Donachie in 2nd place. This was in 3rd. This was Brock Rayford in 2nd place. so nearly recreating his form from the qualifiers.
Yeah, we saw him improve on his first run with that truck into the wedge, and then he did the bar spin disaster to bar spin out. Lots of improvement here. Didn't just go out and do the same as he did in his first run. There's that flare.
It felt like he threw the kitchen sink at the first 30 seconds of this run.
He went all guns blazing. He gave it everything he had, didn't he?
And then probably, I think, the difference in the scores between Felix and Brock Kane in this last 20 seconds here, you could see him looking around.
Yeah, he was looking around. He couldn't believe there was still 10 seconds left. So he had to improvise, and he saw him do that big 360 to finish his run. But he didn't quite have the finish that Felix did.
Yeah, I think that was the big difference between second and first today. So Brock Rayford almost wishing the time away, but Felix Prangenberg, we can take a look through his run now. This was breathtaking start to finish.
I love the way he started up in the top section with that truck driver, big no-hander on the wedge. Look at that 180, getting the roll back as well, which is so difficult. As he heads down into that street section, nice fast plant 180 on the Red Bull Pyramid. This run had a little bit of everything, didn't it?
This is what stood out to me.
How he does that so consistently, I'll never know.
2 runs in a row, he absolutely stomped that.
There's that 360 over tooth up the rail, that opposite disaster with the opposite bar spin, 180 out. And check this to finish, that hard way 360 over the wedge to wedge gap. 360, no, opposite feeble, hard way 180 out. And then this. Over pegs, 180 out, right at the end of his run.
I think for me, if you look at the details of that hard way 270 over the transfer, the fact that he didn't rush the rollout of that, he let it run for a little bit, and the speed he was doing, total control for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult to pull a rollback mid-run, and especially after all of the big tricks that he's already done. It really was incredible, and that was his first run too. So he made a few mistakes in his second run, but it didn't matter, did it?
Okay, we're going to get Felix in the studio and have a chat with him in just a moment. But first, there's the small matter of BMX Park's finals. So BMX Park Finals coming up very, very shortly, but right now, congratulations, Phoenix. An incredible win, but were you surprised by just how high the standard was?
Thank you so much. Yeah, of course, everyone could have easily won this contest. Like, the level is so insanely high, and the last run that Brock had was just perfect, and I thought he's gonna take the win, and yeah. Like, the level gets higher and higher every year. It's crazy.
Yeah, the fact that you managed to go out there and be so consistent with all these incredible riders riding, and it didn't even look like you planned to win it, just like you looked like you went out there to have fun on your bike, and it all worked out.
Yeah, totally. I was just trying to have the best time possible out there. I wasn't even nervous today. I had the best time on the course,
and to win 2 years in a row. What does that mean? How does that feel?
I don't even know. I can't even describe myself. It's pretty surreal. It's kind of crazier than even last year. Like, the second time in a row, it's just, yeah, I don't know what to say. It's crazy.
You had the level of consistency, Felix, that you had in that run. It was phenomenal. Had you got that run planned out from start to finish? Because it looked like a lot of people were actually left out on the course and they'd run out of tricks.
Yeah, like, I always try to plan a little bit, and then as soon as the contest starts, I'll figure some more things out. And yeah, I was trying to do some more stuff yesterday in the qualifications, but I crashed like on the last few seconds. So I was just trying to do those tricks that I didn't do yesterday, and they luckily worked out, like the switch-footed stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty hyped about that.
Okay, we've actually got your run here. We can show it to you. And Baz and I talked through it, but I'd love to hear your perspective on it.
All right.
Can you talk us through it?
Yeah, I just decided that I'd do the no end after the truck, and that felt pretty good.
The fact that you pulled the 180 rollback as well every time was so amazing.
You're so fast on that one, and you just gotta like figure out like how we get up the quarter.
Talk us through this next trick. The fact you've got this is so incredible.
It's a fakie 7, I think, and I've been doing them for a while, but never that consistent, I feel like. And I feel like this weekend I just figured out how to do them like almost every go. Yeah. And yeah, the 360 over the channel is pretty fun.
Yeah, it was so good how as you lost a little bit of speed on the rails, you then picked it back up again and pedaled towards that 360 gap.
Thank you.
And then look, you finished with tricks. You had a little bit of everything, Felix. It was so good to watch.
I'm hyped about that one because I messed that one up yesterday. So yeah, glad that worked out.
Okay, Felix, as the dust settles on the street final, we're now going to look at the park final. And I know that both of you kept your eyes on the qualifiers. Baz, you picked out a couple of people who you thought were going to do really well here. Kieran Riley was your first pick, wasn't he?
Yeah, you got Kieran Riley. He's 18 years old. He's got so many big tricks, and he's so hungry. He went out there and qualified for the finals. Check it out, that 360 triple tail whip. Such a good young rider, full of adrenaline.
Newcastle's 18-year-old nugget of energy, definitely one to watch in the finals.
Yeah.
But alongside Kieran, we go from one of the youngest riders in the finals. The other rider you picked out, this man.
Yeah, Ryan Nyquist, he's 40 years old now. How does he keep coming back to Simple Session and all the other events and placing? He's always in the finals, and he's got so much experience.
Doing it for all the dads out there, I think, Felix.
Yeah, he's got 3 kids at home, living a domestic life, and at his weekends he comes to Simple Session and competes with the youngest riders in the world.
And then this man, Boyd Hilder, first place qualifier. He rode in street, Felix.
Yeah, definitely my favorite. I think he's going to win again. I'm pretty sure.
He's such a good all-rounder, Baz.
Yeah, I mean, his run was so entertaining. He had everything, so much speed. Look at that big 360 gap. And the fact that he's just ridden in street as well, and he's got to go straight into park now.
Okay, well, you've kind of answered my next question for me, Felix. I was going to say, who are you picking for the win in park?
Boyd Hilder, for sure.
Baz?
I think Boyd Hilder. I mean, who's going to stop him?
I think there's 11 other men who might have a say in that.
But if he pulls that run, it's going to be really hard to stop that,
I want to see Kieran Riley out there. I'm going to go dark horse, I think. Yeah. Kieran Riley doing well.
Yeah, to be fair, Kieran and Nyquist could cause an upset.
Okay, well, we can take a look now at Boyd Hilder and when he sat down with Daniel Dares, one of the legends of Simple Session.
Man, it feels great to be back at Simple Session, not only because of the event in itself, but it's their 20th year anniversary. I think Simple Session has always been a very important event just because, it's gathered the best riders around the world. They kept it pretty true to the roots of BMX, and the courses are always challenging, they're always different, it's not just the same, like they try to get pretty much everybody involved. Last year's battle with Boyd was great, I think because we kind of had a good idea on how to put our runs together, but it was fun. Definitely I enjoyed it last year.
For my first year, just riding the course was unreal, and then come out on top, it just topped it off, man. It was great. Honestly, didn't really know. Everyone just grabbed me and threw me up on their shoulders, and that's kind of when I knew.
Boyd Hilder is our 2019 champion.
All the best riders in the world, all the homies are here. It's hard not to have a good time. You're just laughing, having a jam. Practice is wild, but it's fun, man. Well, I never ride with headphones, and I just love when the crowd goes wild. Gets me a bit more stoked. I put an extra pedal in, the vibe's high.
Well, two of the best riders we're going to see out in the finals tonight. And interesting to hear Daniel Dares talking about that rivalry he had with Boyd last year in that context.
Yeah, it was an absolute showdown between those guys last year. And that's what the final produces, doesn't it? Once two riders get out there and they both put a solid first run down, it's all to do in the second run, isn't it? Especially if they're sitting, within a few points of each other.
Okay, we can take a quick look now. Earlier in the day, we held the BMX sister session, the women's park finals. These are the highlights from it. It's so encouraging, isn't it, Baz, to see the number of women competing each year stepping up?
Yeah, the female BMX scene is growing every year, and they're stepping up the level. And it's so good to see Lara Lesserman as well. She's the first female Red Bull BMX athlete. She got a new helmet a couple of days ago. It meant the absolute world to her. And just, we've got riders from Japan.
Minato Oike, when I watched this go down, she went for a backflip on her second run over the big jump box, just over-rotated it. She was sending that. Absolutely beautiful work from her. If she'd have landed it, I've got no doubt it would have been first place. Instead, though, it was Nikita Ducaros of Switzerland who took the win. And the consistency and the power she showed in her riding. Future's bright for women's BMX, Baz.
Yeah, it really is. And now that there's big sponsors for these young females and there's more events, more coverage for them, more opportunity, it's only going to inspire the next generation of females to come through.
Okay, can't wait to see that. We're going to take a very short break now, though. When we come back, we've got BMX Park Finals, 12 of the world's best going head to head.